This is Brian Pillman Jr., and you're listening to Tapped Out Interviews.
Hello and welcome to Tapped Out Interviews. I'm your host, Louis Carlin, and we are part of the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. And I'm very excited today. We have a very, very special guest, the future of professional wrestling. He's a MLW superstar and just named MLW Rookie of the Year. Very happy to welcome Brian Pillman Jr. Brian, welcome to the show, man.
How are you? How's everybody doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm very, very happy we're able to connect today. I know it's, we've tried a number of occasions, but, we weren't able to connect, but I'm so happy we're able to connect today. Very, very excited to be talking to you today, sir.
Oh yeah, it's always fun when things don't come together the first, second, and sometimes the third time, and sometimes different cities and promotions have tried to bring me in and it always fell through, but then finally the time it did work, it was magic, so. Sometimes the good things gotta wait.
There you go. So you're a busy man, aren't you? You're being booked in a lot of places these days.
We're pretty damn busy, yeah.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing, man. And congratulations, by the way, on winning MLW Rookie of the Year. That must have been a great honor.
Thank you very much. I hold that trophy with pride.
Yeah, no, very great. And I know on the last episode you had a great match with Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman. It was you and David Boy Smith Jr. I just wanted to ask you were tagged with that Singapore cane by Sandman. What's it like being hit with that cane?
It hit a lot harder than when Dreamer hit me with it. We'll put it that way.
I know. I mean, I saw Tommy Dreamer hit you, but when Sandman tagged you, he didn't hold back. He just let loose, and he really. I felt it just watching. That must have really hurt, man.
Oh yeah. Sandman is no joke when it comes to the ring. I mean, he gets into his zone, he completes his entrance, and at that point, he's ready to drink, he's ready to fight, he's ready to throw hands. So he was playing no games at all.
Oh yeah, man. I think he's 55 years old, and he looks great for 55. So it's good to see the Sandman. Yeah. And I know you're in a really good feud actually right now with Tommy Dreamer, who's a well-known veteran. Have you learned much from Tommy Dreamer?
I've learned a ton just from being in the ring with him, from talking to him after the shows, and the different advice he's given me. It's been an excellent, I want to say, mentor-mentee relationship in that locker room for sure. A good back and forth, even though, things in the ring get a little fired up, we get a little heated and emotions start flaring. When it comes to being in the locker room and looking up to a legend like Tommy Dreamer, there's nobody else I'd rather be learning from.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I'm a little older than you. I used to go to the original ECW shows and Tommy Dreamer, out in Queens, Tommy Dreamer, Sandman when they were in their 20s and they were kicking ass out there. So I remember those shows. So Tommy Dreamer, I've been watching for quite some time. So what's your current status right now with, MLW? Are you signed to an exclusive contract, or what's the current status?
I wouldn't say the contract is extremely exclusive, but I like to keep myself, confined to that one company as far as being a mainstream star with them. I don't want to go and work for anybody else that's going to use me improperly and deteriorate my push and my star power with MLW. So it's one of those things where, yeah, I probably do have the ability to work elsewhere, but do I want to? Do I want to lower my value like that? Maybe not. So the only other company I can see myself working for would be AEW at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that a little later. AEW, you got Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, and I was watching the Being the Elite, and I think he had a little cameo in there. I was thinking, is Brian Pillman Jr. going to be part of the AEW? So that's another promotion you would consider working for then. Yeah,
that's definitely something I have always received great advice from Cody and stuff on things, and like on my path in wrestling, it's very similar to his when he was growing up. So He's the go-to guy for me when it comes to how I need to progress through this career and what are the steps, the big steps I need to be taking.
All right. So how did you actually become involved with MLW to begin with? So how did all that come
Believe it
about?
or not, they just contacted me on Twitter. It was a pretty organic arrangement. They said, we got the New Heart Foundation ready to go. We want you, Teddy, and Harry. I actually didn't even know they were putting us together until I saw the poster.
Okay. So, like, did you have to get Bret Hart's blessing on that,
So
or?
it was a surprise to me, put it that way.
Okay. When the Hart Foundation came out, did you have to contact Bret Hart and get his blessing, or is he a fan of the new Hart Foundation? Do you know?
Well, the good thing about that is I had actually went to Calgary and trained with Lance Storm, so I had already had a good relationship with Bruce Hart and a lot of the Hart family up there. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me to be able to be welcomed into the family, into the Hart family.
All right, cool, man. Yeah, I was going to ask you about Lance Storm. I know you trained with him, but I'll ask you a little later. But I just wanted to ask, I'm taking the experience in MLW has been fantastic thus far. I know Court Bauer seems to have a good head on his shoulders in terms of professional wrestling. What's it like working with Court Bauer?
Court's a really good guy. He's very understanding. He's very creative. He also lets us have our creative freedom. So if he has an idea and I'm like, you know what, that might be a little too much, or if I have an idea and he might be like, oh, that maybe this isn't enough, might need to go further with that idea. So it's really cool how we can work together, and there's really no bashing heads. He realizes that the Hart Foundation, we have a lot of control over our name and our namesake and what we're going to do. So he sort of just pitches things and we roll with them. If we like them, if we don't, we roll with what we were going to do originally. So it's a lot of fun working somewhere where not only are we treated as the stars that we are, but we're also given the freedom to express that.
Absolutely, man. I gotta say, I'm a big fan. It's one of the main reasons why I watch MLW is you, Davey, and Teddy Hart. You guys are absolutely fantastic together, and you guys are holding almost all the gold now. And Tom Lawler is the world champion now. Have you considered possibly, making a run at Filthy Tom Lawler and trying to get that title?
You see, Tom Lawler's probably one of the few guys that I have such high respect for in our locker room and in this business, and it would be a dream come true to finally be able to tackle him in the ring and take that on, because that's probably going to be one of the hardest career points of my life, is when I have to step in the ring with that animal. And I can't say enough good things about him. But at the end of the day, he is a little monkey, a little dirty little guy. He doesn't have that royalty or that star power that the Hart Foundation holds. So at the end of the day, we deserve the gold, and Tom Lawler deserves to be in the middle card. He's getting a lot of gold pushed his way that he maybe doesn't deserve. Maybe he doesn't bring all those eyes on the product that he thinks he does. So I'm going to knock him down a few pegs. But like I said, all the respect to him. One of the greatest fighters I've ever shared a locker room with. But unfortunately, his time is going to be very short with that belt, because I'm coming in hot for it.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that matchup. I'm sure it's going to happen at some point in 2019. And I predict you'll be holding that title, before the year is up. So how big do you think MLW is growing and growing and growing? How big do you think it could get? Do you think it could, maybe, rival like Impact Wrestling? Or I think it's already rivaling Impact Wrestling, but could it get as big as like a Ring of Honor, or, maybe like almost as big as like a WWE? How big do you think it can actually get?
Yeah, to me it's almost bigger. It's almost bigger than Impact. To me it's a different product than Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor's got their own style of product. We've got our own style. So what we're doing, the type of wrestling we're delivering, is unique in its own right. And there's very few companies that are doing what we're doing and getting away with what we're getting away with. We're bringing in talent from all over the world. The guys that we're using, we're getting them first, and we're using them and putting them on, making them shine. And then other companies are picking up our scraps. They're taking our guys because they want the guys that we're using. You know what I'm saying? So we're where you want to go if you want to get the exposure, if you want to get out there and be seen, and then if you want to, if you want to take off ship to Ring of Honor, or if you want to jump ship anywhere else, it's because you were at MLW first, and MLW made you a star. So if you want to become a star, you want to come to MLW.
Oh, I'm not going to argue there, man. I'm a big fan of MLW. Don't miss it. I don't get beIN Sports. Unfortunately, I'm up here in Canada, but I get to watch it on YouTube, on Saturdays. So big fan of MLW. You guys are great talent. Barrington Hughes, another one of my favorite. I love Barrington Hughes. He's another one of my guys. So, and I've had him on the show as well. He actually says hello, by the way. He wanted me to tell you that he says hello.
Yeah, Barrington, tough guy. Unfortunately, couldn't stop us in the ring. That's just how it goes. But I definitely look forward to working with him again.
So I know your dad was a professional wrestler, but is that the reason why, or let me ask you, what was the reason you decided to pursue professional wrestling?
I was always missing something. I didn't have my dad growing up, and my mom wasn't really there either. So I was always searching for something, whether it was football or lacrosse or going to be the next pro gamer. It was always something. I knew I had this excellence within me. I knew I had some sort of talent, but I never wanted to succumb to wrestling. You know what I mean? I didn't want to admit that was what it was. Deep down in my heart, I knew that wrestling was where I was meant to be. But my rebellious soul, always said, no, try these other things first. Do this. Don't be a sellout. Don't get into wrestling just because your dad was a wrestler. But then I realized that everything, all my genetics, all my personality traits, they're all they do is they all lead towards wrestling. So I couldn't fight it any longer. I actually went to college and succeeded in college and got a job right out of college, did very well in school, very intelligent, very high GPA. But everything, like I said, all my personality traits, they didn't lean towards 9 to 5 desk work. They leaned towards performance and being in front of people and athleticism and things like that. So it was just a natural transition for me. As soon as I went and trained and got this art kind of under my radar and kind of figured out how to apply it in different ways and in different cities and things, and I started to find out, hey, I am really cut out for this. So.
All right, and you said you when you decided to become a pro wrestler, you trained with Lance Storm. Why did you choose Lance Storm, and what was it like training with Lance Storm?
Yeah, it was a relatively quick decision. Maybe I should have done more research before choosing where to train. Maybe not, but you know what? I looked all over the world and I thought, where's the best school? What's got the most rigorous camp? And Lance's was the longest program, the most hours in the ring, the most training time. Also, it was in Calgary, so that's where my father trained, and I thought that would be very fitting for me to train in that same city, in that same country that my father did. So kind of following in his footsteps was a big important thing to me.
Did you feel there was
made
an extra
no-brainer?
All right, man. Did you feel there was any extra pressure because of who your dad is?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think Lance went about it the right way. He definitely pressured me to be the best that I could be, and he knew that, and he knew not to give me too much special attention or give me too much. He didn't want to favorite me in the class. So what he did instead was he made it harder on me. He got harder on me. But, that made me the wrestler I am today. So I'm very, very happy that he was able to push me to my next level.
So tell me about your debut match and what you were feeling going in, right when you were about to hit the ring for the first time ever. Like, were you nervous, or what were the thoughts going through your head when you were about to hit that ring for the first time?
I was really nervous, but I had so many practice matches at Lance's. I was very fresh out of his school, so I was very fundamentally sound. I was already feeling really good. But, I worked with a young guy. He was about 18 years old, and he's very smart. He knew a lot about wrestling, and I felt very comfortable in the ring with him. And the crowd wasn't too big. It was about 80 people, I'd say, in my first match, so it wasn't too bad. It was
okay.
Just, you know what, we're going to go out here and we're just going to do the damn thing, so. Yeah, it was great, and the match ended up going really well. So,
Do you remember who your opponent was?
Yeah, his name was Jonathan Wolf.
Okay. All right, cool. And did you get the victory over him, or what was the result of the match?
I got the victory, and it was very exciting moment for me.
All right, cool, man, cool.
To win my first match, yeah.
I was reading that earlier in 2018 you faced then Impact X Division champion Matt Sydal, and I believe that was for the X Division title. I think that was back in February, I believe. So
yeah.
Take me through that match, or what you were thinking, and could Impact Wrestling be an option for you in the future?
Yeah, it's crazy. Just being in that match with Matt Sydal, X Division titles on the line. It's like maybe my 12th match ever, and we're going out there, and Matt, and he's a good dude. He's telling me, hey, just hang in there. You're young. You're not gonna be the fucking best right off the bat, so, but it was nice. He went up and hit me with a shooting star press, and I felt really good about that. So, even though I lost the match, it was truly an honor to share a ring with him, and yeah, so I think Impact is definitely an option in the future.
Okay, man, cool. I would love to see you in Impact, because I know you got the.
But yeah, Jim Ross was actually there. I forgot to mention that he was actually there for that match, so he got to see it, and yeah.
All right, cool, man, cool. So that was were you with MLW at the time, or that was before you signed with MLW?
Oh no, this is like my 10th match or so. Okay.
All right, cool, man. So I know we spoke about the match a little earlier with Sandman and Tommy Dreamer, and actually took place in a 2300 arena. Actually, used to be called the ECW Arena. And one of my favorite moments from your dad happened when he did the loose cannon when the lights went out and it came back on. He was standing there with the cane. So what was it like being in that arena?
It was eerie. Yeah, it was quite eerie. It was magical. The fans were very receptive to my presence and me being there, and it felt very natural to me. Everything came together on that night. It's stressed and worked up about it as it was. It all came together. So.
Did you remember did you see the clip have you seen the clip of your dad? I'm sure you have. Showing up at things. Now maybe you could settle a bet, because a couple of my friends say that the guy with the red hair who your dad attacked was a fan and not part of the show, but I'm convinced he was part of the show. Well, maybe you could settle a bet right now, and the guy that he attacked, he was definitely a part of the show, right?
Yeah, I actually don't know who that guy was.
Okay.
So I can't really say. I don't really know who, because usually if they're going to use somebody a part of the show, it's like a young boy wrestler or somebody in the business. Sure. But I've never met that guy. I have no idea who he was.
Okay.
So he very well may have been a part of the show, but maybe not. So I have no idea.
Okay. No, there you go. I guess the mystery
remains. Confirm nor deny. Yeah.
Okay, man, but that was a great moment, man. So what have been beautiful. You've been wrestling for some time now, so what have been some of your favorite matches thus far?
Oh, I actually just had one of my favorite matches the other night against a local Indiana guy named Roger, and
okay.
I think the next match is always my favorite, because I'm constantly improving and thinking, oh wow, that was great. I really got in there. I really instilled in a new discipline, something else I've learned. So I'm always constantly trying and innovating new things. So oftentimes my favorite matches are changing, but definitely our tag match the other night against Streamer and Sandman. That was wonderful, very magical moment there.
Okay.
I want to say, I went about 25 minutes with Chase Owens, and that was a hell of a battle. So anytime I get to wrestle with him is an awesome time. So.
Yeah, it's a very, very talented wrestler right there, Chase Owens. I know he's doing really well right now in New Japan. So I just wanted to ask a few questions about your dad, if that's okay, if you're cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I was reading that you initially thought that that your dad's passing was a work. Is that true? You thought that was part of the show, or?
Well, yeah, as a kid, I was constantly bombarded with those types of scenes and filming and things like that, of an essence where I didn't know what was real and what wasn't. So it was very natural for me to believe that. And it took a long time for things to settle in, like, oh, no, this is real. Right?
And you also, I read that you were in the house. I mean, I remember watching Steve Austin trying to get into your house and your dad pulled out the gun. I was reading that you were in the house when that segment was being filmed. I'm sure you were very, very young. Were you scared at the time, or did you know that it's not real? Or what was going through your mind during that segment?
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously we were scared. We didn't know what was going on. And being that we were young, we didn't really, we were just like, we didn't know what the deal was, but that was one of those moments where it kind of led us on, like, okay, now after that happened and nothing happened, we were like, okay, is somebody going to fix this window,
All right, cool, man. You mentioned, this was, I think you tweeted this out one time. You said that older stars need to step aside and let new talent shine. You want to explain, or do you want to explain maybe why you feel that way? Or I know Tommy Dreamer's an older star. Do you think it's time for him to maybe hang it up, or maybe you just want to explain that quote?
Oh, it just speaks to the nature of pro wrestling. You got all these old guys. They retire one time, two times, three times, and they keep coming back, and they think their body can handle it. But to be honest, this sport is not for the faint of heart. And if those guys want to keep coming back, more power to them. But I think they need to step on out and let the new guys like me come in and soak up all the shine, because they're taking up people's spots, and there could be a lot more wrestling going on and a lot less bullshit going on if we got these old gas bags out of the business.
So are you kind of saying that maybe the Sandman should never make another appearance again? I mean, I know he's 55 years old.
I'm saying the Sandman took up 5 minutes of my TV time, and I'll never get that back. So.
Okay. You also mentioned in a recent interview I was reading that you have a desire to wrestle in Japan. Could we expect you to see you in Japan anytime soon, or is there a specific promotion? I know the number one promotion out there, of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling, but there is a specific promotion that you're looking to possibly work for?
Yeah, not specifically. I've always been interested in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but it's one of those things. It's a matter of timing, and when the time is right, the time will be right. I think I'm too far along to be doing their training program, but I'm not far enough to be performing on their highest level. So it's just a matter of getting my experience in, working with more of the guys, and I'm blessed to be able to work with guys like Chase Owens and that who work over there, and they get a lot of work done over there. So everybody's just working, everybody's on their own path, and I'm on my own path as well. So.
All right, man. Well, I'm pretty sure, not pretty sure, but I am sure we'll see you in Japan, cause I know, Cody and the Young Bucks and Adam Page and Kenny Omega are all gone now from New Japan. I need some new stars, and I think you would fit in nicely there. So hopefully, 2019, 2020, we'll see you out there in New Japan. So do you have any dream matches? I'm sorry, I cut you off. I apologize.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, we were speaking about favorite matches. Do you have any dream matches that, is there anybody out there that you would love to face, in the future?
Yeah, I would love to face Jushin Liger. I think that would be amazing.
Okay. You still with me?
I said I would want to face Jushin Liger.
Okay. Oh yeah, absolutely. You had a great match with your dad.
Come again?
Anybody else, or just Jushin Liger? Is that the one person?
Oh, and of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You want to get a little bit of revenge on Steve Austin? No, that's understandable.
I like the Sling Blade and what he's doing over there. I'd like to face him in battle.
Absolutely, yeah, that was a great match. But did you see the match against Tanahashi? That was a great match.
No, not yet. I'm gonna have to look into it.
Yeah. I was surprised. I didn't think he was going to take the title, but he deserves it, man. He's doing a great job out there. So what's the ultimate goal? What's the ultimate goal for Brian Pillman Jr.?
The ultimate goal is to really raise a family and make a bunch of money and help out my Aunt Linda and things like that. So hopefully wrestling can provide me with that avenue. Hopefully I can make it to the WWE at some point and really build up my brand and move to Florida where it's nice and warm and then continue to work and bleed and fight for this business for as long as I live.
All right, man. Sounds good. So do you think that WWE has anything to worry about with AEW?
I think everything's good for business. I think no matter what happens, it's all good for business. It's good for the wrestlers. It's good for the companies. And the competition is good. It pushes people to expand and to learn and to grow. All this is growth in the business. That's all it is. Nobody needs to worry about anything except how hard they're going to grow and how hard they're going to push.
All right, cool, man. And last question, and I'll let you go, 'cause I know you're a busy guy. And final question, I just want to ask is: do you think you'll be headlining WrestleMania one day? And if so, who would you like your opponent to be?
I do think so. I think it would be a great WrestleMania match with me versus Dean Ambrose.
Okay. All right. I know he says he's not re-signing, but hopefully he will, and one day we'll.
He definitely will. Yeah, he definitely will.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure he'll be back. But yeah, that'll be a great one-on-one encounter. Dean Ambrose versus Brian Pillman Jr. If they asked you to change your name, is that something you would consider doing if you signed with them?
I think we're beyond this point. I don't think it's possible for that to happen.
Okay. All right. Well, Brian, I just want to thank you so much for joining me today. Is there anything you want to plug? Any upcoming matches? Any maybe T-shirts that you want to sell? If there's anything you want to plug, feel free, man.
I had done a pre-sale of some shirts, but for the time being, you can check them out at prowrestlingtees.com/Brian Pillman Jr.
All right, there you go. Well, Brian, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day and being on Tapped Out Interviews. And I wish you nothing but great success. And I do believe, man, that you are the future of professional wrestling.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Hey, my pleasure, man. So this has been Tapped Out Interviews. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. And again, I want to thank my guest, Brian Pillman Jr., for joining me today. And until next time, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. And stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.